Hello! Today we will be looking at a mystery genre in the Cambridge IGCSE music listening paper. So that just means that this genre will of course come from our broader scheme of Western art music. So we are looking at Baroque, classical, romantic and for 20th century music. So I will not be giving away which period or from which era this music comes, but I will leave that up to you. You can comment below what you think it is. And if you do leave a comment, I will comment back. But today we are looking at the June 2020 paper 1-1 past paper example. And this comes directly from the Cambridge School Support Hub, which I have linked in the description below. So let's hop into our questions. We are dealing with an A2 over here, which counts 8 marks. And it is one of the subsections of Western art music, as we know. So we're going to hop into the questions. We do have a little skeleton score. And by little, I mean a little bit longer than usual. Usually they give us a line, maybe 2. Here we have 3 lines of music, so that's quite cool. So they give us a skeleton score. They tell us we will hear an extract of an instrumental piece. So we're going to hear instruments. They ask us what key is the music in, or in what key is this music. So that we don't need perfect pitch for that. We don't need to listen. We can just analyze because it's easy music theory. We can already see there's a sharp in the key signature. We can see the piece starts on a G. The extract actually ends on a G. We can be safe and sure that this is G major. If you want to go ahead and listen to that, I don't know how you would hear that. A normal average person won't be able to do that unless you develop perfect pitch at a very young age, or you have relative perfect pitch by now from all these years of doing music. And at your age, that would be very great if you can hear that. But if not, you can just see it on paper, G major it is. Before even hopping into the listening, we can already answer that question. Then they ask, name the instrument that plays the printed melody. So we need to have a listen there for the melodic instrument. They ask, what is the texture? So all our texture words will come up into our mind there. Then they ask us to describe 2 changes when the music continues after the printed extract. So of course, they don't give us a full score of the extract. It's just a skeleton score. It's just a little bit. So when the extract on paper for us after bar 13 ends, what happens? So what happens from bar 14 onwards? We need to listen. They do highlight the word 2 and they do give us number 2 allocated for us in brackets. So we know that we need to give 2 facts here. Then on the next page, we have more questions. Which of the following best describes this music? And they give us a few genres. They say march, opera, oratorio, or waltz. Now, of course, we can maybe even eliminate 2 of those because they already tell us that we are going to listen to instruments. But we will tick what it is after we do listen. Then they say give 2 reasons for your answer. And there we have it. So no question about where does this music fit into, the periods of music history. How would we describe it? Can we maybe describe the composer? Can we maybe describe a sort of subgenre? Nothing like that. And that's why I say mystery genre, because they do not actually specifically ask you the bigger picture when it comes to what kind of music is this? Where does it fit in? What genre is this? From which period does it come? And of course, you can test yourself. If this was your exam, it would have already been nice to know what it was. But, they don't actually specifically ask you that. So, don't know how I feel about that because, you could get easy marks for answering a question like that correctly. But also you could lose silly marks if you answer it wrong. So, very interesting. But we're just going to deal with what we deal with here. Let's go ahead and hop right into our listening and see if you can guess what the genre is. But of course, we won't be getting a mark for coming up with an answer there. But you can think about it to yourself and comment in the comments below.
Now listen to music A2 and answer the questions.
so we will go ahead and answer the questions that we can already. So the key, of course, is G major. We can see that on paper. And if you have perfect pitch, you will hopefully be able to hear that as well. Then we have to name the instrument that plays the melody that we have printed in front of us. So of course we hear a wind instrument there. It is a single reed instrument. That is the clarinet. So you would have to go ahead and write that down. Then they ask us what is the texture of the music. So nothing too complex here. I'm hearing a melody and an accompaniment. And the texture word we use for that is homophony or homophonic texture. So it depends how you want to say that. But anything that describes that you have a single melodic line with an accompaniment, you will get your mark there. Then I think I'm going to skip question 8 for now. I'm going to move on to which of the following best describes this music. We have march, opera, oratorio, waltz. So of course we can already rule out opera and oratorio because those are vocal genres. We don't hear any voices here, only instruments. So march or waltz, and waltzes are stately dances. They're in 3/4, accents on every first beat of the bar. We're definitely not in triple meter at all here. We even have access to the sheet music, yay, and we can see the time signature. We are in common time or 4/4 time, meaning that we have 4 crotchet beats in a bar. And yeah, it already sounds very march like bam pa param bam pa para param bam 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 bam. We are in a march, so we can go ahead and tick that, either because we just know that it is a march or by just eliminating the other options. Either way, you'll get your mark there. Then we have to give 2 reasons for our answer. So I've already explained how we can get to the answer, but let's put it down in real words on real paper so that a marker will be able to actually make sense of what we're saying and give us the marks there. So what we can definitely say, like I said about the time signature, or the meter, it is in quadruple meter, definitely gives that march feel. We have a clear beat, there's no slowing down, there's no speeding up, it's a very consistent, clear beat and a consistent tempo. We have the use of dotted rhythms there that makes it feel extra stately and extra march-like. And also instrumentation wise, I think this is getting a bit more advanced, but because the use of woodwinds alone in the first section would really make it sound like a wind band, and typical of marches in certain time periods, it is played by wind instruments or by a wind band. There's also prominent use of percussion, so we hear the cymbal, we hear the triangle, we also hear the timpani and the bass drum in there. So any of those 2 would give you marks there. To make it nice and easy, I would definitely go with the meter and the tempo. But even if you have anything else to say that makes logical and musical sense, and it really links to the extract that you're given here, Cambridge will most likely give you your 2 marks there. So let's hop back into our listening because we have one unanswered question. And these are what all the listenings are for. We can hear this extract 4 times, and of course it is a chronological CD. We have to listen to what the invigilator plays for us in the exam venue. The CD will just be played fully through, no stopping, no pausing, no anything, a full playthrough. For each little extract that you get, for instance, like here in subsection 8.2, you will have 4 playings. So first playing, silence, second playing, silence, third playing, silence, and then fourth playing and a 4th silence. So of course, when you have your first listening, you're just gonna get a little grasp on it, have a holistic listening, hear what it is. Maybe you can focus on the very simple stuff, such as the instrument, what kind of piece is this, from where does this music come? But definitely then your second and third listening, make it more focused according to the harder questions, specifically like, ooh, what are the changes that I hear after so and so? Ooh, what might this be? Is there something specifically in a bar that I need to listen to? A very specific bar. And so on and so forth. And make sure you tie up everything by the 4th and final playing. So now we're going to listen to it for a second time just so that we can tie up our last question that we haven't answered here. So as you can see, we didn't go chronologically in the subsection 8.2 in and of itself, because that's not necessary. You just need to answer A1 fully, A2 fully, before going on to section B and all of its little things. But for instance, if you're in the subsection A2, you don't necessarily have to go from question 5 all the way to question 9B. You can take it in its stride. You just have to only answer this section or subsection, because you can't go back and answer section A1's things. You can't go forward because you don't know what's coming up in section B. You really just have to stick per subsection as the CD plays. Let's go ahead and listen to our extract one last time, and then we can answer our final question.
Music A2, second playing.
Okay, so what happened after our printed extract continues. So definitely the first thing that hit me there was the louder, fuller sound. Quite loud, so something like that, you can put it down, we'll get a mark for that. Then the melody is definitely shorter. There's only about 8 bars. Here in the extract that they give us, there are 13 bars. And the ending of the melody is not repeated as it is with the printed extract that we see in front of us. So those are some differences. If you want to be a little bit more high end, there is something interesting that happens in the melodic line. So there is an F natural, so we're cancelling that F sharp in the third bar after we hear the extract continue. So technically in bar 16 there is an F natural. So you can put that down if you're very sure about it. We don't really need such advanced reasonings or answers here, but any of those two will give you your 2 marks. So remember to put down 2 facts for your 2 marks. So I hope that does help you, even in just terms of a general listening. And I mean, anything can come up in your Cambridge IGCSE music paper. It sometimes feels to me like a gamble. You work really hard, you know your Baroque, you know your classical, you know your romantic, you know your 20th century, and your 3 subgenres. You've studied hard and listened to a lot of impressionism, minimalism, neoclassicism, and you've even gone a little bit into jazz and musicals, just because you never know what might come up. You go into section A fully prepared, and then you're only given 2 extracts in section A1 and section A2, and they could be anything, and then they throw you something that, woo, they don't even ask you what the genre is or where it comes from, where it fits in the timeline of music history. So it's kind of crazy. You just have to put down what you know, and you can't show anything else that you know. For instance, if you really love your musicals, for example, you can't now show your musical knowledge in this extract. And if it didn't come up in section A1 either, then it's over for that anyway. And that's where the higher levels such as AS and A-level music, that really is more open. You know, you have your essays, you have your research, and that's really cool because no matter what they do ask you in the exam, you will always have the opportunity to show something else that you do know, something that you're passionate about. You can definitely bring that to the fore in those exams. But over here, a little bit of a gamble. But I hope that this video has helped you, and like I said, comment below. What do you think this music is? Where do you think it comes from? Good luck for all your prep for your Cambridge Music IGCSE exam, and I hope that this video on the mystery genre has proved helpful.